Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
The Rock Review is thrilled to catch up with multi-Grammy award-winning country artist legend and multi-instrumentalist, photographer, author, so many things. Marty Stuart coming to us from the House of Blues Studios, where you're working with your incredible band, the Fabulous Superlatives. Thanks for joining us, Marty.
Hey, man, good to see you. Yeah, sitting around in the studio with mask on, trying to make me sing. It's weird, but the main thing is good to be back in the room with the band and playing new songs, playing new music that's fresh, forward thinking, and getting our part together. So when the door finally opens again, we're ready.
Well, you know what, and Marty, you've always been so incredible for all Nashville musicians, and with your involvement with the Opry and obviously the Country Music Hall of Fame too, but just supporting live music and live musicians and constantly coming out with new music. I got to bring up too, you know, your 20th anniversary deluxe edition of the Pilgrim that came out, I think this last October, and then the Coffee Table book, which I love, that came out in November right afterwards, that includes a CD in it. So it's like, I can't believe it's been 20 years already.
I can't either. It went by really fast. It seemed like it took 20 years to make it, but it's one of those records, looking back down the road, that I'm so proud of the Pilgrim. It's kind of a line in the dirt record, and it changed the course of my whole musical life. And looking back on it, I'm glad we took the time to do that record.
Well, you know, and some of our viewers may not know how much of a musical prodigy you are, but, you know, starting out playing so young and then going on the road with Lester Flatts, then playing with Johnny Cash. And I mean, all the things that you've accomplished over the years. But I got to bring this up. I was talking with my guys at the TV station. I can't wait to visit your new museum in Philadelphia, Mississippi.
We're working on it. It's a 3-phase project, starting and about to start the first phase, I think, within the next 2 weeks. We've been working on this thing for about 10 years just to get it here. But you're a musicologist, but Mississippi, as you well know, there's a whole lot of music that has come from down there. When you drive across the state line, it says birthplace of America's music, and back it up. But I think the spiritual home of country music will be in Philadelphia, Mississippi, Congress of Country Music. I call it my presidential library, so just come on.
I love it because, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the Marty Stuart Country Congress Museum. Is that right?
Marty Stuart's Congress of Country Music. That's what.
Thank you. What an incredible name. But, you know, one of the things too, Marty, it was so great seeing you on Ken Burns' Country Music. So well spoken, and you know so much about the history. And I've also played and toured with so many of these musicians, but I think you brought so much to that documentary, and having you on there, I think was just, it was inspirational.
Well, I love Ken Burns and Dayton Duncan's work. It's eternal. You know, when they're finished with a project, it lives on and on and on and on. It doesn't matter. They're timeless. The thing I love about country music, my favorite thing to do with country music, is take the history of country music or the legacy of country music, bring it into the current moment, and show that it all still, coexists together. A good example of this morning at noon today, we start, another session, and there's a particular song that called for piano, and a Country Music Hall of Famer, piano player is Pig Robbins. Pig Robbins has played. I think the first hit he played on was George Jones' White Lightning, and then you can just start from there. But Pig is playing with us this morning, and he is still on fire, doing a great job. But that is a perfect example of bringing, the history of country music and current crop of country music people together. And we, have kids out here working in the control room that are in their 20s. So that's how it works the best for me, is when you make it all flow seamlessly together. I love that.
Well, it's so incredible too, because, a lot of people called you a country music traditionalist, you and Travis Tritt, who, did your No Hats tour together. But, to me, a lot of the fun stuff you did also was kind of melding other forms, just like with the rockabilly and everything else you brought in, Marty, to where your different albums, and just like with the Pilgrim, a vision, telling a story through the music, and you're not limited by mixing in the genres with country.
Well, country music has broad shoulders. It can support a whole lot of, musical weight. But I kind of call it my Mississippi legacy card, because, again, if you look into the state of Mississippi, where I come from, it's all blues based. whether it's in the church house or at a honky tonk or at a country show. It's really a blues-based atmosphere down there. And the legacy of Mississippi is so deep and wide that I stand on that legacy and follow my heart. At the end of the day, I'm a country music singer, songwriter, musician, mandolin player, that. But I have a lot of friends, and my phone book's pretty deep, and it goes in a lot of different directions. It's pretty cool.
Well, I was going to bring that up too, to where, and you and I were talking before we started the interview about, you having Pop Staples guitar, and obviously Clarence White's guitar. Carl Perkins gave you a guitar. You've got Lester Flatt's guitar. I mean, just and to me, and I know to you as well, Marty, they're not just guitars, they're playable artwork, and it continues the history. And that's what I love about the book too, the chapter where you have in there all of the instruments used on the Pilgrim, and you tell the story, and each one is named. Well,
yeah. I mean, right out on the other side of that wall is a guitar that I brought back to Nashville from Florida for Roger McGuinn. It's a Blinken Light Rickenbacker with slanted frets, that had been damaged back in the early 70s, and Joe Glaser put it back together, and we just got it back a couple of days ago. But it's right out there. Clarence's guitar is right out there, and a lot of historical guitarists follow me to the studio. But again, there are voices from the past that speak into the here and now and into the future, into these brand new songs we're writing. And I love that. Again, I love that.
It's just incredible, Marty. I got to ask you, since you're in the studio now, and I'm thrilled that you guys are back recording, making new music. I know that Kenny and the rest of the band in the Fabulous Superlatives are ready to get back on the road. You guys always sell at your shows. When do you think the new music and new album will probably be coming out that you're working on right now?
I think a lot of that depends on when we all feel like the world's kind of coming back together a little better. We'll schedule it around that. I think the job at hand right now is giving us something to do that is creative and keeping us together, and a reason to come put our guitars around our neck and sing songs. So that's what I see right now. So let's just get our part together. Just keep loading the cannon. And so when the time does come, we'll be the most rested and refreshed band in the world. So it would be a show to see, I would think.
Well, you know what, Marty, you may have to bring back the Marty Stuart TV show again, too, that was so popular. And I know you took a rest from that. But, I mean, and once again, just to brag on you a little bit, I love your photography. And, I know I own other copies of your book. But with your photos, you've always found a way to let the pictures tell the story and not have to overuse words. And I think you do the same with songs.
Well, I'm lazy. I just keep putting out photography books. So I don't have to write a real book. But I like what you said about an economy of words. If you look at a Hank Williams song, it's about this. Most of them are about this big on paper, but they're vast, and they are, vast when it comes to going into your heart. And I think that's the kind of songs I love the best. There's some very wordy songs on this new project, but there's a couple that say a whole lot in a small amount of time. And that's the kind of songs that really, I think, ring the loudest in the long run.
Well, I'll tell you what, glad to see you're back in the studio with the band. Also, congratulations on the Pilgrim. For our viewers, pick up a copy. The book is available now. It has a CD with it. Also, the Deluxe vinyl edition, which is incredible, is out as well, of the Pilgrim 20th anniversary this past year. More new music coming. Marty Stuart, thanks for joining the Rock Interview.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.